Smiling those. Welcome to a long time ago. I'm Martin, and with me, as always, is my cousin Adam. How you doing, Adam?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, not too bad. The big question everybody is asking is, how are you feeling this week?
I am loads better. Yeah. Hopefully, I'm through the woods now. But it was a tough couple of weeks. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. But we don't need to go into that because people don't want to hear about it. Trust me.
We certainly don't want the details, that's for sure. Okay, well, this week we're talking about Andor episode 6, and I believe the episode was called The Eye.
It was. We haven't actually mentioned the episode names the whole way through.
No, we haven't.
And I was thinking that I needed to do that last week, and I never got around to it. I just completely forgot. So, yeah, The Eye, which is obviously reference to the Eye, which was the storm on Alderney, the meteor storm thing. It's not really a storm, was it? Meteor shower.
Yeah, meteor shower,
Yeah, which was quite, before we don't want to get to that part of the episode just yet, but
we'll get there.
Really enjoyed it. I was looking through our show notes, and yeah, you're absolutely right. It started off quite slow to begin with. Typical Scottish cold walk down the mountains. But yeah, and like going back to what you were saying last week, it was really grey. But yeah, it was telling a story for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think I put in the notes that I sent to you. I mean, we've both, just so everyone knows, we've only seen it once, and it was only a couple of hours ago.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure on second viewings, third viewings, there'll be more to pick up on. But I think the first 20 minutes was quite torturous in many ways. It took 20 minutes for them basically to walk down the mountain, as you say.
Yeah.
Join the civilian population of Aldani to go and worship the Eye of Aldani, I think it was called, and the ceremony at the temple, and then obviously switched it into Imperial garb, join the ranks of the Imperials, witness the handing over of the pigskin or whatever it was that
the lamb,
the
lamb wool or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what? When they first brought that in, I thought it was a Wookiee's arm or something.
They've got Wookiee pelts, haven't they? So it could be, so it could have well been, because I think the Trandoshans, the Bosk character species, they hunt Wookiees for their pelts.
Oh, right.
In Star Wars. Yeah. Anyway, tangent.
That's good.
And and then obviously they took the Commodore, I think he was, into the base, and that was 20 minutes of, I mean, it was slow, methodical, but at the same time it was tense. I was
nerve-wracking.
Nerve-wracking. I was just waiting for something to go wrong at any moment. I thought, this isn't going to go to plan. There's just no way it's going to go to plan. And I think it was a really big showing of what the rest of the series has been like so far. Each episode we've been thinking, this is
that slow build, isn't it? It's that slow build, but also it always finishes just almost manically, doesn't it? So
I mean, as I think I said last week, I said each 3 episodes is an arc in the series, and if you put the first and second episode together with this one, and turned it into like a 3 hour, 1.5, whatever it would be, mini movie. I think you'd struggle to get to the end, because it would be too slow. Because last week I was saying, I wish they'd released them all in 3-part arcs. Well, actually, if they did that, I'm sure a lot of people, not me, but I'm sure a lot of people would have sort of got an hour in and been like, oh, nothing's happened yet, and just switched it off and not waited to the big heist actually happening. So maybe I was completely wrong from last week. They should be releasing them on a weekly basis. I think it was absolutely great not much happened, but it was absolutely great that first 20 minutes. Sort of set again, to use my phrase of the series so far, putting the chess pieces
Yes.
on the boards. So yeah, we then kind of moved on to going into the base, where this is when it started to
Pick
sort of
up
kick
in
off.
pace,
Yeah,
and obviously that's where the things began to almost go wrong, if you like, but
not to
they
plan.
were exactly, they were always behind schedule for one, and it was. You had Vel and Cinta, who last week I actually said I don't think they're a part of this particular part of the plan, and you said no, they are. They're all going to meet up eventually, but I didn't realise it was all coming together the way it was.
Yeah.
But you had those two on top of the dam, and Vel was, she was second guessing herself, wasn't she?
She was taking care of the communications, wasn't she? Blocking the communications.
Yeah, but then she was second guessing the bit before they all went in.
Yes,
and she was a bit nervous. You could see. We'll get to our dead or alive game later.
Yeah, we'll come to the end of that. But
I wasn't expecting quite a lot of that. But
no.
Obviously, Nemec managed to make it to the base. He managed to make it down that hill.
It wasn't sure though, were we? No. But yeah, when they got into that room and they took the Commodore's family prisoner, because this is a different kind of show. I was waiting. I was again getting stressed and tense, waiting for the mother and the child to get brutally murdered by one of the rebels at any moment. I was thinking, oh, they're completely going to get killed. In a minute. Thankfully, it didn't happen.
Well, it's exactly how she said. The commandant or whatever he was.
Oh, commandant, yeah.
He, he said, "I suppose you're just going to get all the information you need and then kill us anyway." And she said, "Well, we're not. That's how you do it. We're not you." And that was sort of a great sort of show of what the rebels are really like. They're doing it for a cause. So, that's
and the Imperials, they don't care enough about you to actually care what happens to you. So I think that's something Andor said earlier in the episode, wasn't it?
He did, yeah, that's right.
So they capture the family and the guards and the communications people, and they put them up on I guess that's the bridge of the base. I don't know.
Yes, yeah.
And they leave.
They got a good view of the eye at the end, at least. So
yeah. They got to see the show.
Yeah.
And they left Sintra, didn't they, up in the base to look after the prisoners.
Sintra was watching them. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what her sort of way out of it was going to be. And it just turned out to be her dressed in Imperial uniform, walking back down the mountain. So.
Yeah, I don't know if
did they say if she's got another way out?
Well, I think she's just going to sort of take, she'll blend back into the countryside kind of thing. Because I don't know if you remember from the trailer, there's the first ever shot of the trailer is the Star Destroyer in orbit, not in orbit, sorry, actually in atmosphere in Aldani. Yeah. And it's actually Cinta who turns and looks up at the Star Destroyer.
Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yes. So I think we're possibly going to see her trying to blend back into the countryside, trying to make out that she had nothing to do with it. But total guess. But I should imagine the Empire aren't going to be too happy with the population of Cinta after this. And I can't imagine for a second that there's going to be many people alive.
No.
So she's
as in Dani natives and
yeah. So I should imagine her story for us hasn't quite finished yet.
No.
So that was good.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, be interesting to see where they go with that. You said about the trailer a minute ago. This actually had lots of scenes from the trailer in it. This particular episode, didn't it?
It did.
So it's quite interesting to see a lot of that.
But there's still so much that we haven't seen yet from the trailers, which is really surprising 6 episodes in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Because usually trailers tend to only, especially Star Wars trailers for TV shows, they only tend to give you footage from the first one, possibly 2 episodes, because they don't want to give anything away.
That's it. That's what I thought was quite interesting about it. Maybe we have to go back over the trailer with a fine-tooth comb and sort of examine it a little bit better and see what else we're missing.
So, well, if it's anything like the Rogue One trailer, half the footage in the
Won't
trailer
be,
won't be
yeah,
in the
won't be in
series.
the, yeah. True, very true. Yeah.
So that brings us neatly on to the actual heist itself. So
Yeah.
The rebels have all got down to the docking bay, I guess, or safe. I don't know what you'd
Yeah.
call it.
So I think I got a little bit lost here with what they were actually trying to achieve, because I thought they were trying to get personnel records,
No, they were trying to
but they
steal
were actually taking all the credits.
it was the payroll, wasn't it, for the sector that he said they were trying to steal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So literally just credits, and yeah, it's
to fund the rebellion.
Proper bank heist sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, which leads back to Mon Mothma and Luthen saying that they didn't have enough money to, pay for any more of the fight against the Empire. I think that was in a previous episode when Mon Mothma met up with Luthen at his shop. She couldn't get money to him, so that's probably what the money's for.
So far, I've actually only watched every episode once. I haven't been over it twice yet, so I don't know about you. I'm sure you've seen it a second time over.
Do you know what? I think the fourth episode is the only one I've seen twice.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think normally you're right. I'll watch them a couple of times. Sometimes if it's really good, like it's a Mandalorian episode with Luke Skywalker, and I'll watch it 3 or 4 times. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch them all once, and then at the end of the season, I'm going to have a binge and just watch them all in a row. I think that will be really satisfying.
That's a good shout. Yeah, I might have to do that as well.
Yeah.
So they got to the
bank vault,
if you like, and that's when it all went to crap.
Well, it started off doing quite well.
It wasn't too bad, was it?
I thought it was quite a clever idea of them to get the prisoners to actually start loading all the credits for them.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
there was a hell of a lot there, wasn't there? So
there was, and they didn't even get a quarter of them by the looks of things.
No.
So I think it was he said at the end 40 million. I think they got at the end
80.
I was 80 million.
I think that's right. They wanted to split it. Yeah, we'll get to that as well. Yeah.
So then the radio crew, I guess, or the communications
people, they were suspecting something was up, right?
Yeah, and they sent some troops down, and then there was the big blaster fight, and then that's when Dead or Alive started. That's when
the Dead or Alive game came into play, which I didn't see it coming the way it did.
If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, last week we played Dead or Alive with all of the characters in Andor.
And the crew this week had they didn't have the best time, did they?
I wish I could remember which ones I'd said which. I can some of them.
I've got the list here, so
good.
When we come back to it,
Excellent.
I'll go into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, speaking of the Dead or Alive game, the two Imperial officers that had the coffee cups and drink at the same time, we didn't get a chance to play Dead or Alive with them.
No,
they're both dead before the end of the episode, which was quite a shock. But
well, I thought the commandant. I keep calling him that. I don't know if that is what he is, but
his rank was.
Yeah. So there was quite an amusing scene where he's trying to put his belt on. I thought that was quite funny.
Yes. Yeah.
And he had the heart attack, didn't he? During the battle.
Maybe he's not dead. We don't know. I didn't see him get shot, but
if he is still alive, I don't think he's long for the world afterwards when Tarkin or one of the ISB officers turns up and sees what's gone on.
Not likely.
No. And then the other guy, obviously, he was shot. Was it? No, it was Vel who shot him, wasn't it? Coming down the ladder.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Cinta shot him.
Oh, yes.
Cinta shot the other guy. Yeah. I can't remember his name. Pettinger or something.
Something like that. I can't remember. There's so many names to remember in this show.
There is, but they're thinning them out for us at least.
They are, but the thing is, the rule should be if they're not going to be in more than one episode, it's not worth me remembering their name.
No, absolutely not.
So they're having the big blaster fight, and I'm going to have to refer to my notes so I don't get anyone wrong. But the first person to buy it was Tamarin, who we found out in this episode was a former stormtrooper.
Yes, yeah. Well, you say that there's a little bit of skepticism, if you like, about whether Lieutenant Gorn died.
I was going to
If
save him
I
to
think
last.
he did.
Do
I
you
think
think?
he went. I think he
Okay.
went, but it wasn't shown very clearly. I think he was the first to go.
He was the first to be shot, but I'm going to do one of my theories is I
Okay.
don't think he is dead, and I think he'll be one of the people on the rack, if you like, when
Yeah.
the ISB turn up and investigate what's happened,
Yeah.
and they'll find him and they'll torture him for information.
Hmm. Yeah,
Because if
that could happen.
I think that's my prediction anyway. But I've been wrong so many times on this show so far. He probably just got shot and they didn't do a close up,
Yeah.
and that's that.
They didn't give him a very honourable death.
No, no.
So okay, then going back to yours, then Tamarin was definitely dead. Yeah.
Yeah, he was definitely dead. Which again, because of the character development in the last two episodes, it wasn't just like, oh, some random rebels got killed. I was like, oh man, oh whoa, every time someone got killed or whatever. So it's worked very well what they've done so far.
So I will say both of us put him down for dead.
Oh, good.
In the Dead or Alive game,
Yeah.
we both we nailed that one.
What about Lieutenant Gorn?
Lieutenant Gorn, we both have him down for dead.
Okay, right. Okay, so I'm thinking now alive, but we did say by the end of season one.
Yeah. 6 more episodes, so there's every chance he'll hit by then.
Yeah. And then Nemec, who
they get onto the. They really played us with this one, didn't they? So they get onto the ship and they make their escape, but as he's blasting away, tells them all to hold on. They don't do a very good job of it. And Nemec gets sort of crushed by something.
He gets crushed by the credits.
But by one of the racks of credits. And he says that he can't feel his legs. So we think, oh, okay, he's
broken his back or something.
Broken his back, yeah, that's what I was thinking. But they obviously need him to get out, so they do their thing and
stabilize him
a bit, and he gets them out of there.
Yeah,
they take him to a doctor, and we're thinking, oh, okay, they're going to keep him alive.
Yeah,
well, at least that's what I was thinking.
Well, of course, why else have that? I was exactly the same. That was the only sort of moment of the episode. I was thinking to myself, well, what was the point in taking him to the doctors if he wasn't going to survive anyway?
Yeah,
because the act of him handing over the diary could have been done on the ship to Andor as they were flying away.
Yeah,
and obviously Skeen, who we'll come to in a minute, could have wait. The other two could have been in the bridge, and he could have been out the back with Andor saying, we could take this now. We can split the credits. So it kind of seemed like a bit of a, I don't know. It didn't need to be there. Scene.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. I think it was would I say a nice little twist? I think I possibly would, because we both had him down for dead.
Yes, I suppose.
And then they take him to the doctor, and you think, okay, well, the only reason that's going to happen is because they want to keep him alive for whatever reason in the next episode, and then they kill him.
Yeah.
The doctor says he can't do it. You don't see that very often. I'll give them that. You don't see that unless you're watching a particular sort of program about doctors. You don't see that very often. So it's that's kind of interesting.
That's very true. That's very true. And actually, they probably needed to land because Andor needed to escape on a separate ship, didn't he? At the end of the episode. So actually, yeah, you're right. That was a real rug pull. So but again, it was a great character. I really liked him, and he had a really good heroic moment, didn't he, on the ship because he saved Andor. Yeah,
and that was probably another reason why I thought, oh yeah, maybe he will make it through this. But we have skipped ahead a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, yeah,
because whilst he's in there getting seen to by the doctor, Skeen and Andor are outside.
Yeah.
As you said, they were discussing taking the money. We get the reveal of he doesn't actually have a brother. He's just a man that wants to earn a lot of money. And Andor just shoots him.
Yeah.
Now, in the Dead or Alive game, I actually thought he was going to survive and make it to the next season. And you said that he would sacrifice himself to save Andor.
Yeah, I was literally listing everybody as traitors.
Yeah.
except for him.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
so
You thought
yeah,
they'd come good together, strike up a rapport, and then sacrifice himself, and that didn't really happen.
no, no,
Not really.
but yeah, the great scene though,
It was a
fantastic
really good
scene.
scene, yeah, and it goes back. I think we talked about it when we did the Rogue One episode about him being ruthless. We find out just how ruthless he is as a character. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great, and I think he isn't quite the Andor that we know yet, and I don't think he shot him out of you know being totally good. I think a lot of it was he wanted to make sure that Vel and perhaps what's his name?
Nemec.
Sorry, the kid
Nemec.
Nemec.
Yeah.
If he was still alive, didn't get killed by him
Yeah.
when taking the money. But at the same time, he had his own reasons to do it as well. So I don't think he's quite. Well, he obviously isn't quite there yet because he wants to just get away on his own shuttle, take what he was owed in terms of money. He gave the Kyber crystal back to Vel to give to Luthen, I think, as well. So I think obviously Luthen's going to catch up with him again at some point.
Well, that's what I'm thinking at some point. Oh, hello, what's going on there?
The police have arrived.
Yeah, so pretty good. But Vel, we don't really know where she's off to next, and then we're gonna. Nemec insisted on Andor having his diary or book that he was writing. It's not really a diary, was it? It was his
manifesto.
Yeah. So he insisted on Andor having that, so it's likely to come into play again in the forthcoming episode. So
I mean, that's basically going to be the moment where Andor, he has two choices, whether he just walks away or goes on a mission to save somebody or do something important. And that diary is going to be the thing manifesto is going to be the thing that, makes him choose the hero's journey rather than turn his back on not doing anything. But just quickly, sorry, Adam, I think we've forgotten a really, really cool moment, and possibly the coolest moment of the episode.
I know what you're going to talk about.
The escape off the planet through the meteor storm.
Yeah, the distraction of the meteor storm, as they put it.
I'm sure you'll agree with me because we spoke about this previously, but how gorgeous did that look on screen?
Fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people have already commented on the cinematography there. How good it looked. Fantastic. It was really nice.
Just flying through the meteor storm, even the TIE fighter pilots, and you sort of seeing the silhouette of the TIE fighters, and then they're boarding them to take off, all the way to them being chased through the meteor storm, and just the meteor storm itself. I mean, I sent some screenshots of it earlier that we can perhaps add in to the podcast at some point, and just there's a great picture of the worshippers on the planet in the foreground, and in the background, obviously the sky with the meteor shower coming down. It just looked spectacular, and albeit very short, the TIE fighter chase was thrilling. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. It's always good to see the TIE fighters almost as they were in the original trilogy. Really, you see the pilots getting in. What I will say, I'm trying to think what films we've seen where the pilots are getting into the TIE fighters, because you don't see them, parked, if you like, in many of the films, do you? You see it in the sequels, rather.
Yeah, in the sequels you do. In Return of the Jedi, when Darth Vader or the Emperor land on the Death Star, you see the TIE fighters on their what would you call them, racks? I don't know,
sort of
platforms up on the gantries. You see them there, but I don't think in the original
never see anyone getting into them, do you?
No, never. I think in Rebels you might have done, and obviously in the prequels they didn't have them. So I don't think you, except for the sequel trilogy, I don't think you ever see that.
And I think that you only see that in Force Awakens. Do you?
I believe so. Yeah,
I can't remember. There's no point in me questioning my memory on those films, but so I thought it was quite interesting to see the pilots getting into position. Yeah,
and just little details like in A New Hope, when you see them turning the little dials on their joysticks or whatever they're called, that they're using to fly the ships with.
Hmm.
You don't you kind of get a bit more of an understanding about what they're using those for, trying to get targeting and
Yeah.
things like that. And I thought, again, real throwback to the original trilogy,
Yeah.
and but very, very nicely detailed.
Subtle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Subtle
really
little
good.
details.
Mm.
What I was going to say was I think they probably put too much of I think they were called the Dani people, the natives of Eldani.
Mm.
I felt like they probably had too much footage of those guys in there. I thought they padded it out a little bit too much. I don't think it necessarily required that.
Yeah, they were almost used as cutaways for editing, really,
Yeah.
weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
And I thought, don't need to see
Mm.
it, but okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, when I first heard about the temple that they mentioned in a previous episode, I was thinking, oh, is this an old Jedi temple or something? But it turns out I don't think it
Just a little
was.
stone
Yeah.
formation with a fire pit underneath.
I mean, I don't think those guys who are down there worshipping are going to be alive for much longer after this episode,
No,
to be quite honest with you.
probably not. Probably
No,
not. They didn't speak too highly of them, did they? So
no, no,
no.
no. And then I think really at the end we had that glorious scene of Mon Mothma Mon Mothma even in the Imperial Senate,
Yeah, in the
which was
Senate,
it was absolutely
which
great.
is fully
And
imperialized now.
yeah,
Is that
that'll
a
do,
word?
that'll do. It's got logos all over the place.
Yes. Yeah.
But the in the prequels, when you saw the Senate, all of the pods were always full, and there was a shouting and lots going on in the Senate, and it was quite a vibrant place. And now the Empire have taken over.
Yeah.
99% of those pods were empty. Even the people in the pods weren't really that interested about what was being spoken about.
No, but that was because the news was coming through of the attack, right?
That was
I think
yes.
that was more the case, that they were getting that news as she was speaking. So,
but regardless of that, I just she was basically talking to nobody because there was no one there that was interested. And I mean, I'd have to watch it again, but I'm pretty sure there was no one in the central part, where Palpatine and the two viziers would sit normally in the prequels. So that was empty. So obviously the Senate isn't in session. Perhaps, I don't know, but
no.
yeah, that was really cool. That was it. I hope we see it again. I hope we see more in there because I loved that. It was just nice little throwback to the prequels.
Yeah,
and they're doing that great thing where they're giving you throwback to the prequels, throwback to the sequels. Original trilogy, but they're making it its own. They're making it its own thing, which is great.
Yeah.
And then obviously there was a quick visit to the ISB where they had the news of what was going on, and I think that will lead to what we were saying earlier about there being some comeback on this.
yeah, they'll be heading off to that planet and trying to figure out what's going on, I suppose.
Yeah, and it might lead back to more things happening on Ferrix, is it?
Ferrix.
I think
Ferrix.
Phoenix.
Is it?
I think yes, I think it was, and so that'll lead back to probably more storyline there as well because they're going to link it all together somehow.
Yeah.
And then there was the final scene was at Luthen's shop again, and
when he hears the news.
Yes, when he hears the news,
he's absolutely delighted.
Yeah, that was a great little scene because it really mirrored the end of the last episode where he was absolutely worrying that things weren't going to go right, and then pure delight. Pure delight at the end of this episode. I don't know if you saw the end of my notes, but I sent a picture of him. I put me during the episode and then a picture of him that says me after the episode, and we have to put those up on
fair enough
on the edit
I
so people can see. You should check them out. It's cool, definite.
But I will say, when we're calling it the shop, let's refer to it as the Emporium, shall we?
Oh, Easter Egg Emporium. I do
just
apologize.
The Emporium is fine. Yeah.
I didn't spot anything this time.
No, well, that was going to be my next question. Have we? I mean, this episode was packed with tense. What's the word for that?
Moments,
tense moments. Tense moments, and a lot of action to finish the episode off. So, trying to come across Easter eggs there was pretty tricky, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the only Easter egg that I saw were Imperial speeder bikes, exactly the same models that you see in Return of the Jedi.
In the background, yeah. But we've seen those. They've come up before with
They have.
When
They
Braun
have.
was riding in on one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and there was one little thing where when they were in the bridge and one of the officers was working at a desk, and on his screen you could see the same screen that you see that's on the Death Star in A New Hope, where it's showing the planet moving across. Um, I can't really explain it on a podcast, but
Okay.
perhaps I can find the picture and send it to you.
Yeah,
But it's,
we'll
it's
put that
definitely
up.
the same screen that they're looking at as the Death Star is approaching Yavin 4
Okay.
in A New Hope. So I'll pop that over to you as well. But
Good.
that was it, because I was so
Engrossed
riveted with
with
the
the episode.
episode. Yeah, exactly. That I wasn't really looking
Yeah.
for stuff. I'm sure there was, but I didn't see any of it.
Well, yeah, it was a cracking episode this week. I think, what was my message to you straight after it? Next, please. Next episode,
Yes.
please.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
So we start the slow build up from next week
For
again.
the next 3-part arc. So, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think that's everything then, is it?
Yeah, no, I think short but sweet this week, but that doesn't, say that the episode was short but sweet. It was absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm liking. I think I'm liking the way they're doing the arcs. I think it makes sense to build it up. Maybe they could make the episodes a bit shorter because they pad them out a little bit, but I'm not losing interest at all. So yeah, just keep them coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think Disney, when you see them on Disney Plus though, and they say 48 minutes or something, 8 minutes of that is credits normally.
Yeah, it is,
because they have to put all of the credits for every country at the end.
Yeah.
So you think I sit down and rub my hands to go, 48 minutes, brilliant. And then I check the thing as the credits come up, and it's 38. Sorry, it's 28 minutes or something. I was just like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're not as long as we think they are. I don't think they just perhaps seem that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, I think that's it for the week.
That's it. Yeah. If you've got anything to leave in the comments, please do so.
Any Easter eggs we might have missed?
Yeah, I imagine we've probably missed some. Other than that, yeah, we're done. We're done here. Like and subscribe, and all that. Cool.
Excellent.
We'll
Take
catch
care.
you next week.
Bye.
Bye.